What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to share my thoughts on and answer the question, should prestiging return with the next Call of Duty game? And I'll tell you right up front, my answer to this is yes, I do feel the prestiging system should return in some form for Black Ops Cold War. And that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed it, a like rating is always appreciated, and I am totally kidding. Of course, we're going to get into the details and talk about the pros and cons of Modern Warfare 2019's seasonal ranking system that they introduced versus the prestige system that we've always had in Call of Duty. So just to lay this out for anybody that maybe joined the Call of Duty franchise with Modern Warfare 2019 and doesn't know what the prestiging system is, in the past with Call of Duty, you would have your basic ranks where, as you go through those, you unlock things like weapons and perks and equipment, just like level 0 to 55 in Modern Warfare. However, with the prestiging system, once you reach that maximum rank where you have unlocked all of those items, you would have the option, if you wanted to prestige. And what this would do is it would set you back to 0, so you'd have to go through and unlock everything again. But the benefit to this is next to your level, you would get a new badge, a new icon that would show your prestige. And typically, the higher the prestige you get, the better that emblem will look right next to your level, and therefore it was something that a lot of people really like to strive for. Now with this, like I said, it would reset you back to 0, so you had to go through that whole process again to unlock everything. But this was optional as well. If you wanted, you could just stick at level 55 or whatever the maximum level was for the given Call of Duty game, and you would have everything unlocked and there'd be no problem there. Additionally, especially in recent Call of Duty games, there were some other benefits of prestiging, like every time you did prestige, you would get a permanent unlock token, which means you could select a single item like a gun or a perk, for instance, that you would always have unlocked on your account, even if you prestiged in the future. That item was always yours forever. Additionally, with many of the recent Call of Duty games, prestiging was used as a method of unlocking additional class setups that you could use. So you would start with 5 custom classes, for instance, and then every prestige or every 2 prestiges, you would get an additional custom class, so you could expand how many classes you had access to. Now, in recent years, you could prestige up to 10 times, and then after the 10th prestige, you could just start working from level 0 all the way up to level 1000, which would take a very, very long time, and most people would never actually reach level 1000. Only like the true super hardcore players that play the game basically non-stop would reach that. But with this system, it seemed like there was always a level to grind for. You were always ranking up, always leveling up, if that's something that you chose to do. And contrasting that with Modern Warfare 2019's seasonal system, as I'm sure most of you guys know if you're watching this video, with this system you have that 0 to rank 55, and that's where you're unlocking all your perks and your weapons and everything like that, just like the previous prestige system. However, once you hit rank 55, you have everything unlocked on your account permanently. You will never lose any of those items whatsoever. There's no option to reset that or anything. That is all yours forever now. Instead, after that level 55, now you can continue ranking up another 100 levels for each season that you play. So every time a new season starts, you start back at level 55 with everything unlocked, and then you grind through those levels from level 55 to level 155. And then once you reach that level 155 in that season, you're capped out and you will no longer progress in levels after that. And basically at that point, then you're waiting for the next season, so you will automatically be set back to rank 55. So you can do it all again in the next season. And that process just repeats with every season, and you have no real control over that because it resets just on the season. So I think that's a pretty good recap of how everything works. Now let's get into the pros and cons of each of these. And the first big pro with the prestige system, in my opinion at least, is it provides a much better sense of long-term progression in the game throughout the entire life cycle, or however long you want to play the game. You always feel like you're increasing that rank and you're doing something and you have something to show for it. You can feel that sense of prestige. You can feel like you have something to show for all the time that you've put into the game, which for a lot of people is very important. Other people, not so much. But that's kind of the beauty of the prestige system as well, is if you didn't want to keep ranking up but you still wanted everything unlocked, that was an option for you. And many people wouldn't prestige at all and they were perfectly happy with that, and I think that's fine. Now, one area that definitely gets on the subjective side is having the ability to reset your rank back to 0, so you have to grind through and unlock everything, versus always having everything unlocked once you do it the first time, no matter what. For many people, myself included, I actually like the ability to reset and start back at level 0 and strive towards unlocking perks and weapons again. especially when I have access to permanent unlock tokens as I go, so it gets a little bit easier as you go through the prestiges. And if you have that particular item that you really like and you don't want to sacrifice, then you can hang on to that with a permanent unlock token. Having said this, I understand where people are coming from on the other side, where once they unlock everything once, they don't want to have to do that again. They feel like they've already earned that, and that should be on their account forever. And like I said, that's fine. They can just not prestige, but then for them, there's no sense of progression, and XP is meaningless for them, because the only way to advance is if they prestige. So they kind of feel forced to prestige in the prestige system, whereas with the seasonal Modern Warfare system, they get that extra 100 levels to grind for every season without having to sacrifice anything for it. So I definitely understand both sides of it there, and I think this is where a lot of the debate and controversy is going to lie. But for me personally, I have no problem whatsoever resetting and starting back from level 1 and working my way through to unlock things again. I think doing this also adds a lot of variety throughout the game because you don't always have everything unlocked throughout the entire year. There will be periods where you're reset and you've got limited tools at your disposal, so you have to grind through and unlock your tools again. And I think that makes for a more interesting and varied experience over time. Now, moving on to the next thing, one of the big pros about the prestige system that the Modern Warfare system doesn't offer is player choice. With prestiging, it's 100% in the player's hands if they want to continue on and if they want to prestige so that they can continue unlocking things and ranking up. Whereas with the Modern Warfare seasonal system, there's no player choice. Once you hit rank 155, you're capped out, you can't progress any more than that for the season, and you basically just have to wait for the next season before you can start leveling up again. Additionally, for those people that maybe don't have as much time to play and they don't make it all the way up to rank 155 by the end of the season, too bad. You're going to be reset back to 55 again anyway, and you once again have to start through that grind. And for many people, myself included, we just kind of feel like, what's the point? If I'm just going to be automatically reset back to 55 every season without me having any say in the matter, why should I even bother ranking up to level 155? Also, once I hit rank 155, what good is XP to me at that point? It was actually kind of funny. I was just reminded a couple days ago when I logged in, I totally forgot that there were daily and weekly challenges in this game because why bother with them if the XP is meaningless once you hit rank 155? And for those people that just naturally play enough each season anyway to where they're always going to hit rank 155 by the end of the season, why would you ever even think about trying to optimize XP gains or thinking about completing challenges that award you XP if you're just going to reach that goal anyway? And in doing these challenges, you're just going to end up capping out sooner and therefore not being able to progress for even longer. It seems completely counterintuitive for those people that like that constant sense of progression, because if anything, they want to slow their progression down throughout a season so they're not just sitting there capped out at 155 for months at a time. And I've actually seen so many players tweeting me or leaving comments saying, well, I hit rank 155 for the season, like within the first couple of weeks or even like first month or so. And then they just put the game down until the next season because they don't feel that sense of progression. And for many players, that's what keeps them coming back. They love grinding up through those ranks and they love trying to maximize XP. In this year's Modern Warfare, it just seems meaningless because you're just going to hit a wall and then you can't progress until you get set back so you can do it all over again. Now, having said this, I'm sure there is a pro when it comes to returning players each season with the Modern Warfare progression system, and I believe this is one of the reasons they like using this system. Because when it comes to the prestige system of the past, for many people, they would grind pretty hard early on in the game's life cycle, and then they would just kind of fade away and give up over time. They wouldn't want to make it all the way up to level 1000 because that's just way too daunting. Maybe they'll get to prestige 5, maybe they'll get to prestige 10, and then they just kind of fade away, and you've basically lost those players until the next Call of Duty game. With the seasonal system, I suspect what happens is at the beginning of each season, they're getting the biggest influx of returning players that we've ever seen in a Call of Duty throughout the life cycle, because so many people are finally relieved that they can rank up again, so they'll hop in at least at the beginning of the season, and they'll grind through those 100 levels every single season, guaranteed, rather than fading away midway through the life cycle. So while they might be burning out mid-season more often than they would have in previous games, especially earlier in the life cycle, I do feel many players are returning each season at higher rates than they were in the past. And player retention-wise, this is definitely a pro for the Modern Warfare seasonal system. Additionally, one other thing that would definitely be considered a pro for Modern Warfare's seasonal system, at least from the developer and publisher perspective of player retention, This is, with the seasonal system where you cap out at rank 155, there's going to be fewer situations where a high-ranked player will scare a lower-ranked player away. In previous CODs, in many cases, if you saw a Master Prestige player or a level 1000 player in your lobby, there were tons of people that would immediately leave before the game even starts, because they don't want to play against somebody that clearly has at least a lot more experience than them. I know rank doesn't equal skill, but for many people that doesn't matter. They see that level 1000, they're scared, and they leave. And this really just seems to go along with the overall design philosophy of this game. They want to protect the newer players or the lesser skilled players as much as possible. They don't want to scare them away, even if this comes at the expense of a more dedicated or a more skilled player's sense of accomplishment or achievement in the game. Now, I personally disagree with this philosophy completely, but I do see why they do it. It probably helps at least a little bit alongside many other factors with player retention. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for the comparison. However, I did want to share what I would like to see in the next Call of Duty game, because I do feel there are pros and cons of each of these systems, and they can coexist in the game. So what I would love to see is the return of the traditional prestiging system in COD, where you can reset yourself every 55 levels or however many maximum levels they want. You get that permanent unlock token for every prestige, and you get increasingly more attractive prestige tokens that you can show off, because there should be a sense of long-term achievement or accomplishment in the game, I feel. And I think that was always a huge draw to the Call of Duty franchise. I think that's something that really separated Call of Duty from many other games. At the same time, though, I still would like to see the seasonal system in the sense that they have officer rank challenges that you can complete. I think the officer rank challenges were a really cool idea that help with that player retention and that return of the player base for each season, because people want to grind through those challenges. But I think having that combined with the prestiging system would be even better, because by completing those challenges, you get XP that continues towards your long-term progression, not just your seasonal progression. That's also something I wanted to bring up. I thought that was really strange that you would earn XP for officer rank challenges, but for many people, they really wouldn't be finishing a lot of those officer rank challenges until they're already rank 155, so all that XP means nothing. So I think the two can definitely coexist there. I think the Battle Pass as well, the way that they're handling in Modern Warfare is excellent. It is the perfect cosmetic system, in my opinion, with the current state of Call of Duty. And that's yet another thing that will keep those players returning every single season without destroying the sense of long-term progression. So yeah, that's what I would like to see. I would like to see basically everything that Modern Warfare 2019 has when it comes to the Battle Pass and the officer rank challenges, but alongside a traditional prestiging system. Of course, that is just my opinion. I'd like to know in the comments section below, which one of these systems do you prefer? Prestiging or the Modern Warfare seasonal rank system? And also, what do you think about the idea of having a hybrid of the two? Just let me know those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.